After so much rancor, boost, comedy, euphoria, back and forth, finally, the general election is upon us. As we have four major contenders going back to back, we would have said five, or let's make it five. We add Chiwele, even though people have classified him as a Mickey Mouse party. But here on Kiwi Talk, we respect even the minority and the majority. TINUBU, Atiku, Peter Obi, Kwankwaso, and Chiwele will be slugging it out for who will be crowned the next president of Nigeria in 2023. What are your predictions, guys? Who are you waiting for? Who do you feel will emerge as president? On Kiwi Talk, we try to give our unbiased, unabashed, and unrelenting opinions. And as usual, I'm always joined by Tim Henry Awunaya in our Toronto studios in Canada. And I'm your host, Marvelous Achafu Kelechi. We will show you some of the few videos that we find comical, some of the few videos we find encouraging, some of the few videos we find maybe appalling or weird. Well, Tim, time to unpack it all. Who are you voting for? And who did you feel? Just give us your breakdown on what you feel generally about this, basically about the campaigns, everything in general. But let's start with campaigns. I think we should do this as segment by segment. Let's start with the campaigns. What were your weirdest moments? What were your most inspiring moments? Let's start with the campaigns.
For me, the campaigns have been very amazing, starting from TINUBU's campaign, which I call comical campaign. It shows you the caliber of people in Nigeria. If TINUBU, after what APC has done to Nigeria, after even the APC being the governing government in this present coming time for the elections, people still have mouth and the audacity to say they are voting APC. It shows you that Nigeria is not really ready for change. The campaigns has been emerging and people have really turned out for their supposed candidate. One thing I can say for a fact is that this is the first election where the North is divided against itself. We've always known the North to be in one unity. They always stand for their own. But now we see half of the North with Atiku, half of the North also with TINUBU, half of the North with Obi, and half of the North with Kwankwaso. Sorry, I cannot pronounce his name, but with Kwankwaso. How do you pronounce his name again?
With Kwankwaso, go ahead.
Yes, with Kwankwaso. Yeah, with Kwankwaso. So we see half of the North with Kwankwaso. We know for a fact that this election has been every candidate. Let me just put a fair judgment. Every candidate has been on their toes. Every candidate has put in the effort to communicate their agenda to Nigeria, to state why they should be elected into the presidential office. It wasn't like before where we say, we'll give you good road, we'll give you food, we'll give you this. People literally had to bring out valid proof of why they should run for president. They brought out ideas and strategies of how to evolve the economy back to a global and international economy, how to bring back the giant of Africa to become giant of Africa, not just giant in population, how to revive the tribal crisis. So I am certain and I'm sure that whoever emerge as president of Nigeria will be on the toe, because this presidency will be the build or the break of the Federation of Nigeria. And even the whole world is interested in this election coming on Saturday. The whole world knows that the president of Nigeria is almost the second world power, if not after China. You're getting the president of Nigeria is almost like the second world power according to the in accordance to the black nations. So the president of Nigeria will determine what it is for Africa, will determine what it is for the black nation. So this is an election that everybody should be interested. This is an election that we need to pray and we need to vote. Please, Christians, this is not where you go to church and say, oh, let God's will be done. God's will is actually with you. As a Christian, if you don't go out to vote, you are not doing the will of God. You are against the will of God. Any Christian who sits at home and refuses to vote and saying this is their religious faith, you are against the will of God. I prove it to you. Because even the disciples, when Judas Iscariot had died and they needed a replacement, they had to cast a vote. The Bible says they casted a vote and the Lord fell on Stephen's head, and Stephen became the replacement for Judas Iscariot. So we need to go out and cast that lot and put a replacement for Buhari's head.
Fantastically spoken. For me, the campaigns have been rather very comical. I've seen many comical things from both the TINUBU and the Peter Obi camp, from TINUBU reason, even all camps, even Atiku, Kwankwaso, the rest, all camps have been rather comical and been much of a joke. But I think the show and Kwankwaso never made it to the spotlight because they are not major candidates. From TINUBU raising his staff doing the national anthem.
Now the national anthem!
I don't know whether they're singing Olumba anthem because whether it was confused that it was Olumba anthem that they were singing. So Atiku calling himself a unifier when he cannot even unite his party, where most of the governors are busy cursing him, calling him all sort of names. So what's his name? Peter Obi also sleeping at the airport, deceiving people that is a man of the grassroots, deceiving people that he wants to tap into the grassroots. I don't buy into all their fakeness. All of them, all fake. I can say, so their campaigns have been whether quite funny and just using different strategies to campaign and to mass vote. I'm not really much keen or really looking forward to any of the candidates. I've always said it from day one. So I found that mostly this campaign, gone were the days. When you look at the First Republic politicians, they campaigned with issues. They campaigned with things that affected the people. But now you see most of the campaign based on based on insults, based on them insulting people, based on them saying all sort of ridiculous things like, this person did this person did that, campaigning with some ridiculous, throwing tantrums at each other, abusing each other. We've seen it on all sides. So their campaign has not been I'm looking for the right word. Have not been more of issue based. Has been more of just pot shots thrown at each other. But in general, for me, I would just tell Nigerians, those who believe in the voting system, although I do not believe in it, I do not believe that any of the candidates are new to us. Peter Obi has been the vice of Atiku, has been governor, had his runnings with Obi, and now has his running with Ojukwu. So I've seen him play politics in a bitter, desperate. So they are all, to me, as far as I'm concerned, they are all the same pond of fish together. But I would rather advise Nigerians to go about and vote for who resonates with them. Because what I always tell people is that every single issue will be a factor in this coming election. The poverty, the naira scarcity, people buying naira for naira, the fuel scarcity, even some old factors, some old things like the telecom, the NIN, what people face through their telecoms operators, the dollar scarcity, dollar to naira, inflation of food prices, the high cost of living, insecurity. Every major point is going to count in this election. So I look forward to a very, very, interesting one from those who are going to participate and those who are going to cast their vote this coming Saturday. So I'm looking for the pendulum and how it's going to swing towards each other. I would have asked Chimereze lots are being cast in wrapping up the show, who he believes is going to emerge victorious. But I don't think Chimereze is there. I think Chimereze has had some, Oh, welcome back. I think Chimereze is back. So Chimereze, I would like to ask you.
My Jesus Christ. oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait,
hold just on.
My camera, I've become, what is the word? I am zoomed in with this camera. This camera is something else. So my other
Yeah,
camera turned off, viewers.
it
So
doesn't
you
matter,
have
but we
to
can see.
switch.
Yeah,
For me, I honestly
yeah,
would
it doesn't matter.
say,
Just take it home. Alright.
for me, I would say in reality, I will vote for Sure because I know Sure has done a lot for Nigeria. I've seen him fight against corruption. I know Peter Obi has said, "Oh, I got into government, I became governor of Anambra, and there was this fair bunker we used to have that cost so much money, and I reduced to shut it down, and I reduced my convoy." But honestly, that's not really corruption. I've seen Sure go to UK, go to meetings that are being held in United States and America and say these people are thieves. They are stealing our money to do this thing. Why Nigerians are hungry? I've seen him even emerge as a student body council when looking into his credential. He stood against this supposed article when they even wanted to do, elections. We see him speak for Buhari, and when he saw Buhari wasn't acting up, we seen him challenge Buhari and have challenged this federal government. We see him gone to prison for Nigeria for a future. I cannot tell you. See, sometimes you don't need to, if you are the one telling people this is what I have done, you are honestly one-sided. That's one thing I can say. I'm not saying Peter Obi is one-sided, but anybody that tells half of a truth is telling a lie. For you to smile with the same people that are killing Nigerians, for you to sit in the same table with them, you are not a genuine person. If you're sitting in the same table with them and smiling, that is where the problem is. You can sit in the same table and you're eating, but you say you are a wicked man, Mr. President. You are a wicked man, Mr. Governor. And we've only seen Sure confront the Nigerian government with their wickedness. So for me, that is where I cast my vote. If a person can speak for me, genuinely, honestly, from the grassroots, when he has nothing, if he gets into power, he will do what is right. Because that has been his character. Character is not built in a day. Sure's character has been there. Peter Obi's character is just new. We don't know what's changed. What's changed, Peter Obi? You have been in power. What did you do? When Jonathan was in power and there was Boko Haram killing, what did you do? When they have been NSAS, you were still there. What did you do? Did you speak up? Why then do you think I will believe you now to speak up because you're running for presidency? I don't believe that.
Okay, that is Chimereze with his own prediction, predicting that Sowore will become the president of
No,
Nigeria.
you asked me where am I going to cast my vote. You asked me where am I going to cast my vote for my prediction.
Where you are going to cast your fantasy? Okay, that's who you are going to cast. Okay, that's who your preferred candidate.
Yes, that is who I am voting for. Who is going to win?
Yeah, but who do you pick?
Tinubu is going to win this presidency election.
Fine. On Saturday, not from Saturday, we'll start knowing what the figures are saying. My preferred candidate, who will I have said, I don't believe in the elections. I don't believe in, I believe that Nigeria is not united. That's the thing. No, nothing like what they say when the foundation is destroyed. What can the right? I believe that the foundation of Nigeria was built on slavery, and so we are not one. We can never be one. That's why there are sort of things. But in general, who do I feel like, okay, who is the least among the evil and the rest of them? I would also tip Sowore because I've seen Sowore do activism. I've seen him being involved in student movements. I've seen him stand for them, doing NSAS, doing most of the major youth movements. He has always spoken out. He has met with most of the activists, people like Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday Igboho, he's always meeting people. And he's always connected. He's someone that is not scared to speak his mind. DSS have arrested him. Security have arrested him, police. He has been someone who has gone to prison many times, not because of corrupt practices, but because of speaking out his mind and him being charged for things like treason, words of terrorism, trying to overthrow the government and some ridiculous other charges against him. But he's someone that is always outspoken. So I would have said, he would have been a much more person that I would tip towards gaining the seat. But who do I believe that was going to win this general election? My money is on Peter Obi because of what I've seen, because of the strong, saw the massive crowd, the massive opinion
But
polls, the massive
that will
turnout,
only happen
the
if
massive.
this is a
Hold
fair,
on.
free and fair election, though.
Like I said again, me, that's what I'm banking on, because I expect this election to be fair and fair, because I see the president not choosing any sides, deploying military in hot spots, even known in Lagos, places like Ojo, Apapa, Alimosho, Festac, Yanoba, known to be hot spots where there's what's the ballot box snatching, voter intimidation, deploying military there, more than 40, according to what I heard, 40,000 security personnel, army, in just Lagos State alone. That is like the most massive amount of able to overturn, and it shows that truly the CSO and the military, the army personnel are daring people that come outside and perpetrate what's the word, election violence, and you have yourself to blame, which I can predict that maybe might even shoot at sight. Maybe they are going to waste anybody who comes to try to carry out election violence. So I see the president very much prepared for this, and that's why it has had the big parties, including the major party, APC, including going about to even cause the president saying, oh, he wants to do a state of anarchy, he wants to do interim government, this and that, throwing up baseless arguments against him because of what some things he did, including the Naira, the Naira policy that he did. So they are feeling like it's targeted towards them. So I feel like this election, it might not be the most free and fair election ever in the world, but I expect it to be free and fair to some extent. And people might be surprised, might be the most free and fair election in the history of Nigeria, because of what I see the president. For the first time in our history in Nigeria, the president has no successor in the race. So he's not supporting anybody. It just looks like a level playing field for everybody. So I'm just much more keen, but my money is on Peter Obi. But let me see how the coming election plays out. That's been our offering for the breakfast show for this episode. Don't forget to tell us in the comment section who you are voting for in this coming election. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Until next episode, where we bring you the hottest news back to back. You're still tuned into the breakfast show.
Lastly,
Guide was more